Okay, full transparency. I am both a bit curious and nervous at the same time about these new AI storyboarding tools that have popped up in the last couple years or so. I started wondering to myself, is AI actually capable of doing my job better than I can? Essentially, are the tools strong enough this current day, December 2024, to replace human artists? That's a big question. So I decided to run a little experiment where I pit myself against the AI, and in the end, I'll let you guys decide to see if there's a clear winner. Spoiler alert, you're going to be surprised by the results, so make sure you stick around. Welcome to Beyond the Process. I am Lance Laspina, and as many of you may know from my past introductions by now, I've been at the storyboarding thing for quite some time, 30 plus years to be exact. But before we jump into the experiment I'm about to run, and I'm going to do this live by the way, so that way you guys can see my genuine reaction as the AI produces these images. Before we do that, I just want to briefly go over some thoughts I have on this subject from the perspective of a professional storyboard artist. Just mention the term generative AI to an artist, and you're bound to get a negative reaction, some stronger than others depending on the artist. And I'm sure you can imagine, after all this time of doing what I do for a living, that I would be a bit more nervous about AI actually taking over my job. At the moment, I think it's fair to say I'm trying not to be too pessimistic about AI. In fact, I'm trying to remain as optimistic as possible and curious about this quickly evolving technology, as I don't want to be left behind. Early in my career, there was already a dynamic shift where I had to go from working traditionally to digitally. And luckily for me, it was a pretty easy transition because I'd always been involved with computers and I love technology. But for the old school guys, they resisted that change to their own detriment. They were left behind for a while and they had to play catch up with a big learning curve of how to work on computers. And I kind of see AI in the same way, although to be honest, AI is a much, much larger obstacle than going from traditional to digital. But the same principles apply. I do think those who completely ignore the technology and ban it, I think they run the risk of being left behind. And I just don't want to be one of those people. So that's my stance on it. You know, you may agree, you may disagree. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be pro AI or anything like that, but that's how I feel. And I think you guys are going to have a more optimistic outlook actually after this experiment is over and see the results. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Of course, prior to recording this video, I had to go out and do a bit of research first. So I tested about 7 different AI storyboarding apps. And to be honest, I found the vast majority of them to be shockingly bad. Only 3 ended up making the cut in the end. The rest were lacking very essential features that I thought were pretty obvious. It's like they neglected to even interview a real-life storyboard artist to ask them what they should be including in their software. So speaking of essential features, I actually made a list of my top 8 that I was looking for. And of course, not every app is going to have all these 8 features included, but I was looking for the apps that had the most. So let's go one by one. Now, the first thing that I was looking for was the ability to choose aspect ratio. You know, not everything these days is shot in 16:9. You're going to find projects for social media shot in 9:16. You don't want to have to crop a 16:9 into a 9:16. You're going to lose resolution and also composition as well. So that was important to me. The second thing was the ability to control the camera angle. I found it quite difficult to control camera angle just by using text prompt alone. Now, the better apps, the 3 stronger apps, all had the ability to control camera angle in a separate module, like a separate feature. So it would have different choices like medium, close up, wide angle, high angle, low angle, that sort of thing. So you had those choices. And that way the AI would adhere much better to that rather than just if you had it listed in the text prompt. The third thing was the ability to maintain consistent characters. Now, a storyboard would be no good if the character from frame to frame kept changing appearance and look. That's one thing that humans are very good at doing, human artists. They're able to maintain consistency, have the character look the same hairstyle, same clothing, everything. So that was a big thing that I was looking for. Now, some of these apps, they actually allow you to build the character first prior to even starting the storyboarding process, which I think is smart. So essentially, you describe your characters in the scene, and it builds it for you, and it gives them a name. And of course, you could choose the name. And then that way you use the name in your description whenever you're writing the prompt, and it'll reference the character that you built. So that way, all those characters remain consistent throughout your storyboarding process. So that is, something that's very important. It's practically essential. You have to have it. Now, the fourth thing was the ability to control the composition. That's another thing that's very tricky to do using text prompts only. Now, usually I found there are two methods that most of these apps would allow me to use. Not most, but the three top ones. So the first, which I prefer, is the ability to upload my own thumbnail sketch, just a quick sketch showing composition, and the AI references that and it'll create the fully rendered version based off of your thumbnail. The second way is some of these apps have a drawing program built in that, and it's very rudimentary, I might add. It's not meant to be, something like as glamorous as Photoshop or anything like that to draw on. Because all you're doing is drawing these little doodles, essentially, of the composition. So you're placing your characters in the frame, the buildings, backgrounds, cars, whatever it is. And the AI will recognize that, also in conjunction with the text prompt that you type in. And I found that it adheres pretty well to whatever scribbles you've made. It's pretty impressive in that aspect. So the ability to maintain composition and control it, that is a big plus. The ability to control the style of the drawings. Now, almost all these apps will offer an abundance of different styles, some more than others. They're not all great, and I find the photoreal ones to be just almost offensive. Like, it's not storyboarding, it's photographs. It has no life. They just look very stale. So I only would use the sketchy versions that they had, that they provided. Now, some apps, like the better ones, will actually allow you to upload your own style. So I would upload an image that I've drawn in my style of storyboards, and it would kind of try to mimic that. Now, it doesn't mimic it exactly, of course, but it does a fairly good job of being consistent throughout. Now, the next thing would be good export options. So the ability to export as a PDF in different layouts. So if you're doing a horizontal layout, you might want to have, maybe 6 panels, 3 and 3, or maybe 9 panels, 3, 3, 3. On vertical, you might want to do 3 vertically or 4 vertically. So the option to kind of choose your layout is important. And then in the same regard, I would also like the option to export these frames individually, because for the most part, I actually prefer to place these images into my own templates that I already have. I spent a lot of time creating templates that are branded, and it's just easier for me if I get the individual frames. So that should be an option as well. And lastly, I have 2 bonus features that I would like to see. The first one is arrows, like just directional arrows for either subject matter or camera movement to indicate those. I found a lot of these don't have that, which was really surprising to me. It seems like a basic thing that a lot of storyboard artists use. Again, they must not have interviewed a real storyboard artist. But otherwise, if they don't offer this feature, then you've got to download the image and you got to manually place them in yourself, which is an extra step. You're not saving time. So that's a bonus feature. And then the last bonus feature is celebrity likeness. Now, I didn't get a chance to test this yet with the projects that I was experimenting with, but we are going to try it out today because I do have a project that has celebrities in it. So I'm really curious to see the results of that. So without further ado, I'm going to reveal to you now the 3 top AI storyboarding software that I ended up choosing to fight against. So in no particular order, these are the 3 top AI storyboarding apps I ended up selecting to compete against. Number 1, Katalist. Number 2, LTX Studio. And number 3, Storyboarder.ai. So here's how it's going to go down. I ended up selecting a commercial I recently worked on. It's called Hilarious. Essentially, it's a stand-up comedy series on the streaming network Hulu, hence the play on words hilarious, starring a number of prominent comedians. So in this spot, we're going to see Jim Gaffigan, we're going to see Sebastian Maniscalco, and we're going to see Bill Burr. So I'm curious to see how the AI handles the celebrity likeness. Now, I've taken the time to write out a detailed description for each frame for the AI to use. And there are going to be 6 frames total, by the way. So we're going to watch as the AI renders this out in real time. And then we're going to compare it to my storyboards. And then in the end, I'm going to let you guys decide who wins each round. Okay, so let's jump into Katalist. So when you log into Katalist, you're greeted with these 3 options. You could either upload a script, which would be like Final Draft, Word, text file, PDF, etc. You could generate a script from a prompt, or you can start from scratch with a blank project. I don't have a script per se, I have a shot list. So I still think it'll work. I'm going to go ahead and do, instead of uploading script, I'm just going to do paste from clipboard. And I'm going to paste in my 6 shots that I have. I'm going to separate them here with a space. Okay, hit continue. Now it's going to process my script and it's going to break it down into panels. So we'll see how good of a job it does. All right, so it looks like it did pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, it got them all, which is great. So let's go to next here. Click the next button. See what the next stage is. Okay, create your style or use a sketch. So, I mean, I could end up creating my own style, I suppose, but I'm just going to try, for the purposes of this, I want everything to go as smoothly as possible. I'm going to use their existing sketch option, okay? And you have all these other different options as well. I don't like any of them, to be honest, except for sketch, because I want mine to look like they're real storyboards. I want them to look as close to what I actually drew, which is grayscale, black and white. Let's choose sketch, hit next. Okay, now we're on to the cast. So as you can see, it's already figured out there are 3 main actors. Of course, now they made them all look the same here, which we're going to change in a second, but they got the first names right. They got Bill, Jim, and Sebastian. Let's start with Jim. I'm going to go ahead and hit this little edit icon. His name's Jim, obviously. Clothes. I already have a descriptor of clothes, what he's wearing, because I don't think I put that in the script so much. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that in here. And I'm going to hit change appearance. Now I'm going to create one from scratch because I don't want to use any of their default characters. So create from scratch. Now, as you can see here, you have the option to enter a description of the character, which again, I have that prepared. So I'm going to copy and paste. And then in addition, because we're trying to do a celebrity likeness, you can upload a face reference. So let's go to Jim and upload Jim Gaffigan. And we'll see how well the AI does with this. Hit save. Now, there aren't any guidelines as to what kind of, oh geez, yeah. This is, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but if I change appearance, see it goes, I tried this once before and got the same thing. I'm not sure what the deal is with these face uploads because it doesn't seem to be working correctly, but I'm just going to move forward. And because, you know, if it's a normal person trying to do this, this is what you're going to encounter with this program. So you just have to figure it out. So I want to just go ahead and move forward. Oh my God, that looks horrible. That looks pretty graphic, actually. Let's see what we get with Bill. We try to modify Bill. Okay, so again, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste in what he's wearing. Paste, okay, and then his name's Bill, of course. Change appearance, create from scratch, copy and paste in his description. And then I'm going to upload an image of Bill. Okay, let's see if the AI does any better with this one. I'm almost scared to see what it produces. Oh! No, what is the deal with the other one? God, I might have to change the image to something else. Okay, I'm going to hit save. I can't stop laughing when I look at that. All right, let's edit Sebastian. Hit save. Okay. Oh, jeez. What is going on with the Gaffigan one? That is so weird. Okay, give me a second here, because I'm going to look for another image.
A few moments later.
All right, paste in Jim's description. We're going to upload a new face reference. God, I hope this works out better. All right. Close enough. And we're going to hit save. Okay. Next step is to create the project. So we're going to hit the create project button. Now what's going to do, it's going to take all those prompts that I originally entered as the script, and it's going to try to render them. And I'm going to react to these in real time and see how close it gets. Okay, here's the first one. Ah! Hey, that's not too bad. That's way better than I pictured it was going to be. Okay. Let's see how the second one comes out. Oh boy. Oh, this is going to be fun. Here we go. Upsampling. And the second one finally. Okay. Well, it didn't really adhere to my prompt. I tried to make them as descriptive as possible, but unfortunately this one, if I click on it, yeah. First of all, that doesn't look like Sebastian. Secondly, it doesn't look like a diner. This looks like a restaurant, like a regular restaurant. The way these chairs and tables are, there aren't booths. So that's a little disappointing. So I think I can upload an image here. Let me see if, I'm not sure if this will work. Now I know that sometimes they allow you to upload images as a reference, but I'm not sure if that's going to replace this or not. Let me try. So I do have my thumbnails here. I'm going to upload this and see what happens. Okay. So this is my thumbnail that I sketched out, but I think what it did is it just replaced it. It didn't actually use it as reference. So that's not correct. This is not what I'm hoping to do. Okay, so we're back, and these are the renders that it came up with. I don't know who these... This one kind of looks a little bit like Bill Burr, but not exactly. Let's see, the second version. This is not very good at all. He looks like a god darn giant standing there, and this guy looks like a... Okay. Third render, not very good. First of all, there's supposed to be 3 people in the shot, and there are only 2. Okay, none of these are good. They don't adhere at all to my thumbnail. That was actually the first one was actually the closest one, even though it's not right. I wish there was a way to... I know that there is a way to influence the composition by using a thumbnail, using some of the other methods, but for some reason you can't do it here. I don't know why. So we're just gonna have to go with what they produce, and unfortunately they're not very good. So let's start from the beginning. This one actually is the best one. It's the closest to my thumbnail, even though it didn't see my thumbnail. This would probably work. It's not really that high. It's kind of eye level. I said higher than eye level, but that's okay. This one, of course, we already went over. It definitely doesn't work. It's supposed to be Sebastian walking down, greeting Bill and Jim, and then this is close. It's a profile, but we only see 2 guys instead of 3, and these guys are like gigantic compared to the actual booth. So they're like really squeezed. They look like they've been shoehorned in there. And then the next shot, I believe, is supposed to be, if we reference this, yes, it's supposed to be over the shoulder of Sebastian looking at Jim. And it's not that at all. It's just the guy standing in the middle with his arms up in the air. And he still has his arms up in the air in the next shot. Which is supposed to be a 2-shot. It's supposed to be over the shoulder of Jim shooting at Sebastian and Bill. So that's no good. And then the final shot is not even close. It was supposed to be shooting behind Sebastian and Bill at Jim. So what can I say? I mean, it's pretty disappointing, to be honest. And I know that there's another way to control the image with a sketch, and it turns out much better. So let me try and find that way, and I will be right back.
20 minutes later.
So here we are back at the beginning. I did a little research, and it looks like, at least to me, and someone correct me out there if I'm wrong, but the only way to control the storyboards by using reference like a thumbnail sketch is by starting from scratch using a blank project. So let's do that. Let's try that option. Now, I do think it's important though to see what we just saw in terms of like, not everyone's gonna be an artist who can do thumbnails. Okay, so most people are gonna end up using the method that I just showed you, which wasn't very accurate. I'm not even close to being accurate, actually. So let's try and see what it looks like now with some guidance using my thumbnails. So we're going to click on blank project. Okay, so I'm going to name this Hilarious Part 2, the sequel. All right, we're going to stick with the same sketchy style. Create project. Okay, so I'm going to add characters. I'm going to add... I wonder if I could add all three at the same... No, I guess you can only add one at a time. So I'm going to add Bill. Oh boy. It's making me start from scratch again. Okay, I thought it would at least remember his description. So I got to do this again. Sorry.
A few moments later.
So there we go. And location. I got to do this now. Old style diner. And let's say there's a description for the diner. Save. Okay. So now it is going to, I believe, give me the option right here. Okay. See, if you hover over this arrow, it looks like an upload arrow. It says upload reference image. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'm going to pick my first thumbnail. And let's see how close it gets to adhering to my thumbnail. Now, my thumbnails are fairly detailed. They're more detailed than a lot of thumbnails would be. So it's probably, it should get it accurately. And it did. It pretty much traced my thumbnail, added some shading. Yeah, I mean, this looks very similar to this frame here. As you can see, I still like mine better. A little biased, but I just think this looks more natural. This doesn't quite look as natural, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Let's save that. Let's go to the next frame. Upload a thumbnail for this as well. Oh, I didn't... Yeah, that's funny. It doesn't ask me for a script or anything like that. I'm not even putting in a prompt, huh? So maybe this is the way to go though, because honestly, it's cleaned up my thumbnail a little bit. Actually, this is the final frame. So, I mean, this looks much cleaner and nicer, I think, than this. This is still sketchy. It didn't really clean up the sketchiness of my thumbnail, which you kind of hoped it would. The one thing I do want to point out there, if you look down here on the bottom, you do have the option to decide like what kind of shot it is. So I'm curious if I put, right now it's set on medium shot. If I change it to close shot and it's set at eye level, let's do close shot from below. No, let's do from above. I want to see close shot from above and re-render this. And I want to see what it does, because these are, some of the options you have to edit the image. But again, it seems like there's so much, you have to go to so much trouble just to get anything close to what you're looking for, especially if you don't have a thumbnail. I mean, I tried with the other, oh, what the hell is that? What the hell is this? Okay, yeah. This, I don't know, and it even has Rob Liefeld's signature on it. That's horrible. Guys, you should be ashamed of yourselves, honestly. Really? Like, you produced these from this. I mean, you gotta be effing kidding me. All right, on to the next one. As you can tell, I'm not very happy with this. Third one. I think I'm only gonna do 3 because why waste my time? So disappointing. This is what you get, guys. I mean, if if any of you out there want to try this, this is what you're gonna have to go through. Okay, so again, you know, it's adhering to my thumbnail sketch fairly well. All it's really doing is adding shading. It's not really cleaning up the lines or anything like that. So, yeah, it's disappointing, to say the least. It's really disappointing. But okay, so I've had enough of this. We're going to move on to the next storyboard app, and hopefully we're going to have better luck. Okay, so let's jump into LTX Studio. And I don't remember if I start from scratch with this one. I think I might. I think I start from scratch, yeah. New blank project. Okay, movie name. Hilarious. Again, you have a choice of aspect ratio, which is nice. The same choice: 16:9, 1:1, or 9:16. Video style: cinematic. I'm gonna do. It's not really cinematic. I'm just gonna do standard. Style reference. Again, it'll allow you to adhere to your style, but I'm gonna leave that off because I don't want to have to go through that. I think it's just gonna confuse it. Cinematic inspiration. I don't think there's really any inspiration here to add. Is there now? It's just a standard commercial. All right, so again, you start with adding a cast. So let's go and add our first cast. His name is Jim Gaffigan. Age, 50s. Appearance, let me copy and paste my appearance in here. Actually, let me cut out the part about the clothing, because that's going to go into here. Main outfit, same thing. Clothing style, let me see. Okay, I'm just going to stick with casual for clothing style. And then type a more detailed description of his outfit here. Voice, I don't want a voice. Oh gosh, I don't really need a voice. It doesn't have any image here. I guess it's going to create it now. So I'll go ahead and let's hit create character. You know, not too bad. Not too bad. I mean, it's not Jim Gaffigan, but all right, I'm just going to stick with it because hopefully we'll have a chance to manipulate it a little bit in the boards. Okay, I need to add another character. I'm just going to go through this quickly and then I'll be back.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I'm back. I just filled out the information for Sebastian and it got pretty close. I do see this switch, or I'm sorry, this button here. It says face switch. So when I click on that, now it does actually let you upload a face reference. So I'm going to grab Sebastian's, upload it here. I'm curious to see what this does and how close it can get. I thought there must be a way to control at least the face, but just figuring things out, as I said. Okay, let's apply. And now let's see what it renders like. Oh, wow, it really looks like him. Fantastic. Okay, that is much better. Let's hit apply. Now let's go back and edit, or switch the face rather, for Jim. I'm curious, you know, if we upload this, apply, did it do anything? Okay, now it's rendering it. Okay, yeah, that looks much more like him. Very good. Very good. Okay. So now, add the last character. I'll be back after I fill this out. Okay, I'm back, and it is just finishing up rendering out the first rendition of Bill Burr. I still have to add the facial reference image. Yeah, because it looks a little bit like him, but not exactly. So let's do face switch. I'm going to drop this image on there. Okay, hit apply. And now let's see. Oh, yeah, that looks much more like him. Very good. Okay, let's hope that at least, it looks like them in the photographs, but I'm hoping whenever it's sketched out, it maintains the likeness. So let's hit apply. We've got our 3 characters. We got Jim, Sebastian, and Bill. Very good. We got our aspect ratio, standard video. Okay, let's move on. Start. All right. So now I'm going to go to location. I'm going to type in the location of the diner. I'm just going to say daylight with sun streaming through the windows. Weather, clear skies. It's nice. It gets pretty detailed here. Create location. Okay. I'm back. Now, what it did is it took my description and it used AI to really enhance it. I wish it wouldn't do that so much, but I guess it needs to be even more descriptive than what I typed up. So I don't have time to go through and edit this. I'm just going to use whatever it came up with and hoping it is close enough. Okay, so we got the location. We have our cast. Style is next. So I'm going to choose... Let me see, view all, so we could look what. Now, LTX Studio, unfortunately, doesn't have many choices to choose from. Scribble, I guess, would be the closest to my boards. So, because I definitely don't want photos. I don't want anything to look photorealistic. I don't want anime. I don't want 3D cartoon. This one probably wouldn't be bad, but I don't want color because mine's not in color. So I'm going to have to go with this. And unfortunately, they need more options. Clothing's already set, I guess. Okay, so prompt. Let's go for one shot at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste in my prompt. And shot type. This is definitely an establishing shot. There's no character dialogue, no sound effects, nothing like that. I'm going to go ahead and add a shot. Oh, canvas or upload. Huh. Okay. So that didn't exactly... Let's take a look at this. If you remember, this is what we're trying to get to. This is, I want to see what it does without uploading a thumbnail. Because most people, as I mentioned, are not going to have a thumbnail available to do this. So you're just going to be going by, trying to control everything using prompt and text and anything else that's available to you except for a thumbnail. So, all right, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to add a shot. Now, it looks like you can upload an image here. I'm not sure that's a reference image. And then canvas might be the ability to go ahead and roughly sketch what you're looking for, and then it'll render it out. But I'm going to go with prompt again because I think this is how most people are going to do it. And I want to see the results. Okay, this would be kind of a medium shot, medium wide, but they don't have medium wide available, so I'm just going to go medium. And I'm not sure if it references my cast or not. I mean, I'm using the same names in my descriptors, but it doesn't show here who's in the script. Okay. So that's not very good. Again, this is what we're looking for. This is shot number 2 right here. And that's not at all what I described. So we're just going to keep going on. Prompt, shot 3. Because, we have to see what you're going to get in the end. And unfortunately, it's not looking very good. Medium shot again. You know, this has been my experience with generative AI to a certain point. That's better. That's better. It's not exactly, these aren't my characters. They're for one thing, there are 4 people, not 3. To compare, this is what we're trying to get. A profile 3-shot. And that's not what we're seeing right here. I mean, it's close. It's still at an angle, though. It's not squared up. And I don't know who this person is. I don't know who any of these people are because they don't look anything like the reference. So to me, it seems like when you build a cast in LTX Studio and you use a photo reference to control what your characters look like, I think that only applies to photographic styles. It's not going to apply. Like if I choose, let's for the heck of it, let's choose standard. I just want to see what it looks like. I'm just curious if changing the style will actually make things more accurate, especially with the characters. Okay. You know, let's go one by one. That's not too bad. We got a car pulling in off the street, although we have some cars who are going perpendicular to the direction of traffic, which is pretty funny. This guy is just parked. You could see the parking spot should actually be this way, and he's parked the opposite. And it's funny because in my prompt I have a 70s Lincoln Continental that's pulling in. They made pretty much every car like the 70s cars, which is kind of funny. But it's not total garbage. I mean, you could reuse it. Let's see if let me see these tools here. Generative fill, remove objects, camera angle. I'm gonna go higher. Let's see if we could do higher. Right click and pan the camera. Okay. Click and drag. All right, so I'm gonna, oh, look at this. This is interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna do more like that. Click and drag, scroll, zoom in and out. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit as well. Pan the camera. And background fill. Okay, generate. So this is kind of nice. At least, you know, if you have your first render and it doesn't exactly come out the way you expected or the way you wanted with the composition, at least you have some tools that you can alter here, which is nice. And this, to me, this is more useful because now it's showing the entire diner. Before it was cropping it off. So, and I also got a little bit higher of an angle, which is nice. So this is kind of a cool feature. I can appreciate that. Again, we're looking at photographs instead of storyboard sketches, which I don't like, but they seem to be much more accurate. Let me hit done here. I'm going to go on to frame 2. This shot is not accurate. It's supposed to be, you know, at this angle here, a 3/4 angle, but I kind of like it. I kind of like that, you know, this is in the foreground, it's blurred. Although this makes no sense. This guy's sitting like outside the booth, and these guys don't look like my characters at all. So I don't even know why you bother uploading reference images if it's not going to look like them. And then lastly, so this is probably the closest one. So, because it's supposed to be this shot right here. And as we can see, it's fairly close. But again, although this guy should be on this side, there should only be 1 on the right, 2 on the left. And they don't even look like the same characters from frame 2. I mean, there's no consistency between these 2 frames. So what the heck is going on? Let me change the style one more time. I'm curious to see what it looks like with that sketchy colored style, just for the heck of it. Okay, this is kind of like an anime type style. This is not really useful at all. I can't really tell what that is. It's almost too loose and sketchy. There aren't enough details. It doesn't really look like you know, Burbank, or because I specifically put Burbank, California, and even gave the name of the real restaurant where the location is. They got the 70s Lincoln Continental pretty close. The second shot, not very good at all. I don't know what this is. These guys with these big black eyes, like dilated. And this is a corner booth, so I mean, close, but definitely no cigar. So, all right, guys, I was planning on doing 6 frames, but I think we've seen enough. I think we've seen enough. This is kind of crazy. Let me look at my cast again. I just want to see. Okay, see, my cast is still here. So why don't these guys reflect the cast at all? That makes no sense. LTX Studio, if you're watching this, I hope you are. You need to fix that. You need to fix several things, but definitely fix the cast, because what's the point of creating a cast if it's not going to adhere to it? All right, I want to try one more thing though before I go. So upload, I'm assuming upload just means just a frame, like you're just inserting a frame. Yeah, it's not really doing anything. Okay, so let's delete that. Wait a minute, let me see tools here. Generate fill, no. We're gonna delete this. I'm gonna go to canvas. Okay, so I don't really have the time to do this. Wasn't planning on doing this, like redrawing, but this is where you would actually sketch. So if, you know, I'm doing this with a magic mouse, essentially. I don't have my, it's not on my, but I'm just doing this for the heck of it, just so you can see. So that is kind of what you would, I'll just say, like, woman running desperately away from an attacker, and I just want to see what heck comes up out of it. But yeah, so there you go. Let me hit enhance. I didn't put a setting or anything like that, of course. And you can control the strength, like how much it adheres to your scribble. Up here right now, it's set to 66 out of 100. So enhanced, you know, it looks pretty good. Again, it's all photographs though. It's not doing a sketchy style, which really bothers me. You know, I wish you could have the option here to choose the style. I don't know why you can't. I'll hit apply just for the heck of it. Okay. So I think we've seen enough of LTX Studio. You guys let me know down below what you think of it, how it compares to my boards. You know, hopefully I have the advantage on this one, but I'll leave that up to you. All right. Next, we're going to jump into Storyboarder.ai. I've been saving this one for last because I'm hoping that this one's going to be the best one. So we'll see. Okay, so here we are in our third and final AI storyboarding app, and it's called Storyboarder.ai. So when you log in, you're presented with this screen and you're asked to create a new project. So let's go ahead and click the button, New Project. Now we have a choice between concept and script. Concept is just uploading a PDF concept or type in your own idea. Script is actually uploading a final draft. Celtics or PDF screenplay. I'm gonna go with concept. Let's try that. Project title. Hilarious. Select the genre. Commercial. It's nice that they actually have commercials as genre because LTX Studio did not. Hit next. All right, so we could either drag and drop a PDF or start typing our shots. So let me go ahead and copy and paste my shots in here. All right, I got 6 of them. Hopefully it'll be able to sparse those out. Hit next. Okay, now we're presented with a choice of styles. And as you can see, Storyboarder.ai has several different black and white sketchy styles, which is good. And then you also have the option to add your own style. I'm going to avoid that again for purposes of this demonstration, because not everyone who uses this is going to have a style to upload. So I'm going to go with Just their basic one. It's called Sketch Black and White Basic. Let's choose that. And then do Add Project. Okay. So let's see. I guess generate screenplay. Or yeah, because Shotless is grayed out for some reason. So I guess we got to generate the screenplay, which is kind of odd. Oh boy, here we go. This is not what I had in mind. But let's see if we could get something close. Okay, exterior wide establishing shot of an old diner. The camera's positioned high above. Okay, so I want to make sure that it's going to do only 6 shots. I don't want it to do several shots for each setting here. Because that happened to me before when I was testing this out. So let me see if I can do this. So I hit shot list. It's going to create its own shot list now. And then I'm going to have to try to revise it to maintain the 6-shot limit. Completing this step will lock your screenplay, but don't worry, you can always make changes in the shot list, including adding, deleting, or editing scenes. Okay. Well, let's just do it. Okay. Scene 2, shot 1. Alright, so it ended up doing 5 shots, which is fine. We don't need all 6. Let me see what these are like, though. Okay, wide establishing shot. Okay, that's pretty good. Shot description for scene 2. Inside an old diner with a view between the counter and booze. That's not exactly correct. I'm going to copy and paste my exact prompts in here because otherwise it's going to give us something we're not looking for. Okay, I just finished copying and pasting all of my descriptions into the shot description. And let's see what's next. So it's generating. I don't know if this is still generating or we move on to the storyboard. Let's go ahead and try and move on. Okay, generate storyboard. So change art style. Well, let me make sure it's okay. It's still selected sketch black and white. Save changes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and generate the storyboard now, and we're going to see in real time here what we get. I'm curious to see how good this one. Oh gosh, photographic. That's not the art style I chose. More photographs. What is going on, guys? Oh boy. Okay, now it switches the drawing finally, which is really crazy. All right, so they suggest if you don't get the correct art style off the bat that you hit variation. So let's hit variation. It's too bad because this is actually kind of cool looking. I mean, it looks very like set in the 60s, but I guess maybe it's going off of, you know, old style diner and the fact that I have a 70s Lincoln Continental on. Let's hit variation and see what happens. Not much. That's 1. This is 2. First one, second one. Gosh, terrible. Okay, how about frame 2 is not even close at all. Oh boy. Let's hit variation on that and see what happens. I'm not very optimistic. Here I was thinking Storyboarder.ai was going to be the best one. No, it just keeps keeping photographic look. I'm going to hit retry. I'm not sure what the difference between variation and retry is, but maybe retry will actually start it over. Oh, no. Still photographs. Still photographs. And I don't know what all these people are doing in the background. I'm going to change the art style. I'm going to go to Sketch Black and White Detailed, and let's just see if that does anything. Okay, so variation. I'm going to hit variation on all these because I don't like any of them. Oh, terrible. Guys, what is going on? I mean, it slightly changed some of these. Very slightly. Ah, this is horrible. All right, so if I go to edit, let's try edit. I'm not sure exactly what choices we're gonna have here. Oh, these are ways to edit, like if you're fairly close and you want to do some in painting, or like if I wanted to get rid of this car and I wanted to paint it out, you could do that. Let's see, add arrows. This actually gives you the option to add arrows, which is nice. This is one of the bonus things that I guess, oh, you don't see it until you hit OK, which is kind of weird. So I don't know how you position it then. But yeah. Okay, so if I hit refresh, there's the arrow. I don't know how to, okay, there we go. Oh, that's better. It's a higher angle. Did my arrow just disappear on me now? I think it did. That's frustrating. I mean, that's not very user-friendly, to say the least. It's not intuitive. But I do like the angle of this better. It's still photographic, though, so I don't understand what is going on. I'm going to do one more refresh. Yeah, not any closer. I like the last one. Let's go back, and we'll save that one. And then get out of here, I guess. Huh. Okay. Scene 2. I mean, this is nothing like the way I described it. Terrible. I'm pretty sure image upload just means it's going to replace that image. Okay, let's see here if I can control it by uploading something. Simple. Okay, here we go. Upload an image. Image to image, sketch to image. This is what I've been looking for. Okay, upload. Oh, select a file. Okay. So, upload. Let's see. Now, again, this is cheating because most people aren't going to have sketches already done. If you're not an artist, you're not going to have anything, already sketched out. I mean, if you hired an artist to do thumbnails, why wouldn't you hire him just to finish it off? So let's see now. Huh. That's interesting. It looks like we're shooting through the window somehow. So if why can't you get this larger? That's another thing that's just annoying. Okay, so the composition is actually really good. I mean, it adhered to my thumbnail pretty darn well. But the characters don't look like my characters that I want. We're shooting through this weird window inside the diner, which is kind of strange. There's a woman. There aren't any women in this spot. I don't even mention a woman, so I'm not sure how she ended up there. Now, okay. Again, and it's not adhering to the style that I originally chose. So if I go back here and, I want to make sure, okay, it's definitely black and white, detailed. That's what it's supposed to be. Save changes, change the art style, hit variation. Now, according to them, when you hit variation, it's supposed to re-render in the correct art style, and it did not do it again. This is really frustrating. This is what I'm getting at, guys. I mean, this is AI storyboarding as it currently exists. It is not very good, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately for us, I should say. Fortunately for the artist, it's not very good. Unfortunately for those who want to actually use it in a real world application, it is not there yet. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to try one more time with this frame. I want to see if I upload my, here, I'm sorry, let me go back here. Oop, where is it? There we go. So 3, sketch to image, upload. Okay. I want to see how close it gets. Oh my God. What is this whole old-timey thing with looking through a window? That is so odd. I mean, it definitely got the composition. Even the guy's elbow resting. If we look at mine, you could see the composition is pretty much there. But, and this guy looks like he's just sitting down, which is pretty cool. So it's close, but it's not close enough to be any use. No one would be able to use these. Like, you can't just say, oh, pretend like this is Jim Gaffigan, pretend like this is bad, and pretend like there's no, like, door in front with a window that we're looking through. Come on. All right. I'm kind of fed up, as you could tell. I'm going to stop the test here. You guys let me know what you think. Who won each round? Was it me? Was it the AI storyboard tools? I'm curious to know what you think. I'll be back with my closing thoughts. So, after putting all of these AI tools to the test, here's what I found. While they can churn out some pretty impressive imagery fairly quickly, they ultimately end up falling short in the most critical of areas. Honestly, I spent more time tweaking and fixing the AI-generated boards than I had anticipated. So it became quite clear to me, at least for now at this moment, that these tools aren't quite ready to fully replace human artists, especially on projects that require precision and emotion. Now, of course, they can still be useful for pitching an idea or for roughing out a concept. But when it comes to creating shooting boards that truly reflect a director's vision, I'm happy to report that there is still no substitute for the nuanced touch of a human artist. So storyboard artists out there, I want you to rest easy. Our jobs are safe.
Yes!
At least for now. AI might be fast, but when it comes to quality and accuracy, human artists still have the upper hand. If you found this video both entertaining and useful, I'd really appreciate you clicking the like button. And if you're not already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd also like to know your thoughts on AI as it relates to storyboarding, so please let me know in the comments. Thanks once again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.